If you think hummus is just another dip sitting in your fridge next to the salsa and ranch, think again. This smooth, creamy spread has been around for more than 7,000 years, and yet it still feels like a new health snack in the U.S. grocery scene. Pretty wild, right? What's even crazier is that people are still arguing about where it really came from. Some insist it was born in the Levant, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and Palestine. All want to take credit, while others swear it was first created in Egypt. Either way, hummus has managed to spark one of the tastiest debates in food history. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on exactly how hummus is made inside a modern food factory, turning humble chickpeas into the smooth, silky dip that has taken over the world. For a dish this simple, hummus comes with a surprising amount of drama. Imagine going back to the Middle Ages and watching cooks argue in their kitchens over who made the best chickpea paste. It wasn't a dish created by elite chefs for royalty. Instead, it started out as a peasant food basic: hearty, nourishing, and inexpensive. Just chickpeas, tahini, garlic, lemon, and olive oil. Nothing flashy, but timelessly delicious. Fast forward to today, and that same humble recipe has become a $1.12 billion industry in the United States alone. Walk into any supermarket, and you'll find entire sections devoted to hummus in every flavor imaginable, from classic garlic to spicy buffalo, roasted red pepper, caramelized onion, and even chocolate dessert hummus. It's come a long way from being a poor man's dish to becoming the star of Super Bowl parties, healthy lunches, and Instagram-worthy snack boards. The name hummus itself literally comes from the Arabic word for chickpeas, wamak. Ancient cooks weren't trying to be clever marketers. They didn't spend time coming up with trendy food names like Power Bowl or Artisan Spread. They simply called it what it was: mashed chickpeas. Imagine if modern food followed that rule. We'd be eating bread with tomato sauce and cheese instead of pizza, or frozen milk with sugar instead of ice cream. There's something refreshingly straightforward about that kind of honesty in food. Of course, not everything about hummus's past is simple. In 2008, Lebanon and Israel went head-to-head in what became known as the Hummus War. Each country tried to set the record for the world's largest serving of hummus. Picture a bowl the size of a swimming pool filled with silky chickpea spread, surrounded by thousands of people ready to dive in with pita and spoons. On the surface, it looked like a quirky food stunt, but underneath symbolized something bigger: pride, cultural identity, and a love for a dish that connects millions of people across borders. In that moment, hummus wasn't just food. It was a symbol of community and tradition. But enough history. Let's step inside the factory and see how this iconic dip actually comes together. The process begins with one simple yet powerful ingredient: the chickpea, also called the garbanzo bean. These legumes thrive in warm, dry climates, so most of the world's chickpeas come from the Middle East, Turkey, India, and even right here in the United States, particularly California. Factories are picky about the type of chickpeas they use. Some are larger and creamier, perfect for smooth hummus, while others are smaller and slightly grainier, which can affect the final texture. When dried chickpeas arrive at the factory, they go through an intense cleaning process. Think about if these beans have been harvested from fields, shipped across countries, and stored in bulk. They could be carrying dirt, stones, or even tiny debris. So before they even touch the mixing machines, they're washed, sifted, and sorted with precision. High-tech vibrating screens separate the bad beans from the good ones, and sometimes workers still check by hand to make sure only the best make it through. This step is critical because one bad chickpea can throw off the smoothness of an entire batch. Once cleaned, the chickpeas are soaked for 8 to 12 hours in massive tanks of water. This softens them, making them easier to cook and blend. Later, it also removes certain sugars that can cause digestive discomfort. You know the kind of issue beans are famous for. After soaking, the chickpeas head into industrial pressure cookers. These machines transform tough beans into tender bites in under an hour, using steam and heat to break them down evenly. The trick is to cook them until they're soft enough to blend into a silky paste, but not so mushy that they fall apart completely. Meanwhile, another star ingredient is being prepared: tahini. This sesame seed paste is the secret to hummus-rich, nutty flavor. Factories source sesame seeds from across the Middle East, Africa, and Asia. The seeds are roasted to unlock their aroma, then ground into a thick paste. High-end brands go the extra mile, carefully balancing the paste so it's not too bitter or oily. Cheap tahini, on the other hand, can ruin hummus, making it grainy or harsh. The difference between good and bad hummus often comes down to the quality of this one ingredient. Next comes olive oil, a cornerstone of Mediterranean cuisine. Only extra virgin olive oil makes the cut in most factories. It's fruity, slightly peppery notes not only enhance the flavor, but also add that velvety texture we all love. The olive harvest is treated like an art form in countries like Spain, Italy, and Greece. In fact, the flavor of olive oil can change depending on the type of olive, the soil it grew in, and even the weather that year. This is why brands often highlight premium olive oil. On their labels, it really does make a difference in taste. The final flavor boosters: fresh lemon juice. Garlic and salt may seem minor compared to chickpeas and tahini, but they play a huge role in balancing everything. Lemon juice adds brightness and temps. Garlic provides depth and warmth, and salt ties it all together, amplifying the natural flavors. Factories usually add garlic in moderation, since too much can easily overpower the dip. Some even roast the garlic first to mellow out the sharpness. Now comes the most important stage: blending. Industrial processors whip the chickpeas into a silky paste, using sharp blades and powerful motors to eliminate every lump. Tahini is added in precise amounts. Too much, and the hummus turns bitter. Too little, and it becomes bland. Then lemon juice, garlic, and salt are incorporated, followed by a drizzle of olive oil. Watching these machines churn out tubs of hummus is oddly satisfying, like seeing cement mixers at a construction site. Except the result is edible and way more delicious. But factories don't just trust the machines blindly. Each batch goes through quality checks. Expert tasters sample the hummus to make sure it's perfectly balanced, nutty from the tahini, bright from the lemon, smooth and creamy without being runny. If something's off, adjustments are made right away. And because hummus is a perishable food, safety testing is strict. Batches are screened for harmful bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli. And if there's even a hint of contamination, the whole lot is tossed. That's how seriously companies take quality. Once approved, the hummus heads to the packaging line. Modern factories are highly automated, filling thousands of tubs per hour. Containers are sterilized using steam or UV light, then filled with exact portions of hummus. Lids are vacuum sealed to lock in freshness, and some brands even add a drizzle of olive oil on top for a glossy finish. Labels are applied with nutrition facts, allergen warnings, and bold designs meant to catch your eye on a crowded grocery shelf. Whether it's a simple plastic tub or eco-friendly packaging, the goal is the same: keep the hummus fresh and appealing. From there, the hummus is moved to cold storage, kept at a steady 34 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Refrigerated trucks transport it to distribution centers, and within days, it's on grocery store shelves across the country. Speed is crucial because hummus has a limited shelf life. If it's not handled properly, it can spoil quickly. That's why logistics teams monitor temperature and delivery schedules with almost military precision, so the hummus you grab at the store is as fresh as possible. So why has hummus become such a massive hit in the US? Part of it is timing. As more Americans shifted toward healthier eating and plant-based diets, hummus stepped in as the perfect option. It's vegan, gluten-free, high in protein and fiber, fits neatly into the Mediterranean diet, which many doctors call one of the healthiest in the world. It's also versatile. You can dip veggies and pita in it, spread it on sandwiches instead of mayo, use it as a salad dressing base, or even stir it into pasta for a creamy sauce. And with endless flavor, variations everything from spicy jalapeno to roasted red pepper, there's always something new to try. At its heart, though, hummus is more than just food. It's a cultural bridge, a reminder of how simple ingredients can bring people together across continents and centuries. What started as a humble dish in the Middle East has become a symbol of healthy living and global cuisine. Every tub sitting in an American fridge is connected to thousands of years of tradition, family recipes passed down through generations, and a shared love for food that's both nourishing and comforting. And here's the best part: it doesn't matter whether you're scooping it up with warm pita bread, spreading it on a sandwich, or sneaking spoonfuls straight from the tub. Hummus will always feel timeless. It's one of those rare foods that manages to be both ancient and modern, simple and complex, comforting yet endlessly versatile. No matter where you stand in the great hummus origin debate, one thing's undeniable. Have you ever ripped open a bag of candy and wondered what really goes into making those perfectly shiny, bite-sized chocolate treats you can't stop eating? Behind every crunchy bite of a Malteser or a Butterfinger is a fascinating process that blends science, precision, and just a little bit of magic. Americans have had a sweet tooth for decades, but what makes candy like this so addictive is more than just sugar. It's about texture, quality, and consistency that guarantee that every single piece you pop into your mouth will taste exactly like the last one. Today, we're diving deep into two legendary sweet Maltesers with their airy malt center, coated in chocolate, and Butterfinger, with its crispy peanut butter layers wrapped in a silky chocolate shell. Get ready, because once you see how these are made, you'll never look at your favorite candy aisle the same way again. The story of Maltesers begins with something deceptively simple: a malted milk ball. At first glance, it might look like any other round chocolate bite, but creating the perfect Malteser takes dozens of steps. After the malt balls are puffed, they need to be cooled carefully so they keep their shape and don't turn into a melted mess before chocolate even touches them. Cooling is a delicate part of candy making. It's what ensures that crispy crunch when you bite down. Any ball that comes out too soft, too lopsided, or just doesn't meet the strict standards is tossed out before it gets anywhere near the chocolate station. Only the best make the cut, because one oddball in the bag could ruin the brand's reputation for consistency. That's why Maltesers have become such a beloved snack. You always know exactly what you're getting. Now comes the part candy lovers dream about: the chocolate coating. The puffed malt balls roll down conveyor belts like little soldiers ready for duty. Machines coat them in an even layer of smooth milk chocolate, but it's not as simple as dunking them in a vat and calling it a day. The chocolate has to be tempered, a process of heating and cooling that aligns the cocoa butter crystals inside the chocolate. Tempering is what gives it that glossy shine and satisfying snap when you bite in. Without it, chocolate would look dull, melt too easily in your hands, or taste grainy. At Mars factories, this process is executed with meticulous precision, so each Malteser comes out with a flawless finish. But balance is everything. Too much chocolate coating and the malt crunch disappears. Too little and you miss the creamy contrast. That makes Maltesers iconic. The machines spread just enough chocolate over each malt ball, then give them a little shake to remove the excess. Afterward, the candy travels through a climate-controlled cooling tunnel. Think of it as a spa day for sweets so the chocolate sets properly. Cool it too quickly, and the coating might crack. Too slowly, and it won't get that signature glossy look. This timing is everything. And it's the difference between a perfect Malteser and a reject. Every piece is checked again before moving forward. Are they the right size? Do they shine? Do they give that audible snap when tested? If the answer is no, they don't make it into your bag. For Mars, this isn't just about quality, it's about trust. When you open a pack of Maltesers in Los Angeles, New York, or Dallas, you expect the same experience. That consistency has built decades of loyalty. And it's why the candy has grown from being a UK favorite to a global snack. Loved across the USONCE approved, the Maltesers are weighed and poured into bags. Packaging may seem like an afterthought, but it's just as important as the candy itself. The bags are designed to leave a little room inside so the chocolate balls don't crush each other during shipping. They're sealed tight to keep in freshness and checked for leaks or tears. Each bag carries expiration dates and batch numbers, so the company can trace every product back to its source if there's ever a problem. And of course, there's the iconic red branding that catches your eye in any candy aisle. Today, Mars is also pushing toward sustainability. The company has pledged to make all its packaging recyclable by 2025, a move that speaks directly to environmentally conscious American shoppers. Every bag of Maltesers you grab in the store is part of a larger promise to reduce plastic waste and create a future where sweet treats don't come at the expense of the planet. Once the bags are filled and sealed, they're packed into boxes and shipped out worldwide. Trucks, trains, and ships carry them from factories to distribution centers, and finally to local stores. Placement is just as important as production. Maltesers need to be easy to find. Often stocked at checkout aisles where impulse buys happen. That's not by accident. Candy companies know exactly how to make you crave a treat at the last minute. So why have Maltesers held their popularity for generations? It's simple. Light, crispy, creamy satisfaction in every bite. The snack feels indulgent without being too heavy, making it perfect for everything from movie nights to road trips. Add Mars' commitment to quality and sustainability, and you've got a candy that isn't just surviving in the U.S. markets, thriving. But Maltesers aren't the only legend in the candy world. Across the aisle, another American favorite has its own story, a bar with a name as fun as its flavor. Butterfinger. Butterfinger has been making waves since 1923, when the Curtis Candy Company first introduced it. With its crunchy peanut butter center wrapped in smooth chocolate, it offered something no other candy bar had at the time: texture. Before Butterfinger, peanut butter and candy was usually just blended into fillings or hidden between chocolate layers. Butterfinger flipped the script with a crispy, brittle center that shattered when you bit into it, delivering a peanutty crunch no one could forget. And then came the marketing. In the 1980s and 90s, Butterfinger exploded into pop culture thanks to its partnership with Bart Simpson. "Nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger" wasn't just a tagline, became a rallying cry for mischievous kids across America. The bright yellow packaging, the cartoon chaos, the crunch, you could hear it all turned Butterfinger into an icon. Inside the factory, Butterfinger begins with peanuts sourced mainly from the southern United States, where warm weather and rich soil make for perfect crops. These peanuts are roasted until they hit that golden point between bland and burnt, then ground into a paste. But this isn't your average peanut butter. It's blended with sugar and corn syrup to create a brittle, almost crystalline texture. Unlike the creamy spread you'd put on toast, this mix is poured into molds, cooled with precise temperature and humidity controls, and hardened into that signature crunchy filling. Meanwhile, chocolate is being prepared. High-quality cocoa beans from regions like Ghana and Indonesia are fermented, dried and turned into cocoa butter, cocoa liquor, and cocoa powder. Mixed with sugar, milk solids, and a bit of palm oil, the chocolate is tempered, heated, cooled, and reheated to create a smooth, glossy finish. This chocolate is then poured over the brittle peanut center by specialized enrobing machines that coat every bar evenly once cooled. The bars undergo strict quality control. Any bar that's misshapen, undercoated, or cracked doesn't make. It passed inspection. The rest are wrapped in Butterfinger's bold yellow packaging, designed not only to catch your eye, but also to protect the bar from light and air. The foil layer ensures that crunchy texture stays intact until the very moment you rip it open. Butterfinger's journey doesn't stop at the factory. Distribution networks ship the bars across the country, often placing them in high-traffic areas like checkout lines or vending machines. Online stores and bulk orders have only made it easier to grab a Butterfinger whenever a craving hits. Through the years, the recipe has seen tweaks, some loved, some controversial, but the heart of Butterfinger remains the same. The crunch, the sweetness, the playful branding. Whether you remember sneaking one into class, grabbing one at a gas station, or seeing Bart Simpson guard his stash on TV, Butterfinger is as much about nostalgia as it is about taste. Together, Maltesers and Butterfinger represent two sides of the candy world. One is light, airy, and poppable. The other is bold, crunchy, and unapologetically messy. Both are crafted with extraordinary care behind the scenes. From sourcing ingredients, to tempering chocolate, to perfecting packaging. And both have earned their place in candy history by delivering consistent joy to fans across the U.S. and beyond. So the next time you unwrap a Butterfinger or tear into a bag of Maltesers, remember the precision, patience, and passion that went into every bite. Candy might look simple, but behind every piece is a story of craftsmanship, culture, and the universal love of something sweet.